A gun scare at CSUN causes an outcry in the community. Even though it was a hoax, students say the school didn't do enough. The protest next. Northridge drivers beware. A study says one of the most dangerous intersections in California is close to campus. We'll tell you which one you should be extra careful crossing. And he's a student trying to make a difference. We'll introduce you to a 19-year-old CSUN student running for the California State Assembly.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Rochelle Salas.
And I'm Shannon Osborne.
A Snapchat video of a gun had the CSUN community on alert. The video spread like wildfire on social media. CSUN officials say the video was a hoax, but several students believe the school's response was lacking. Valley View News reporter Tomas Rodriguez has the story.
A gun is not a joke. My life is not a hoax.
More than a dozen CSUN students chanting marched around campus in protest of the way the campus police handled an alleged gun threat. The demonstration was part of a class assignment that focused on social change.
The aim for the project is to get them to start taking ideas that they have about what's wrong with the world and the change they'd like to see and learning how to embody it.
2 weeks ago, a video was posted on Snapchat showing a gun on a dashboard of a vehicle near the library. CSUN police responded by alerting the entire campus that they were investigating the incident, but the school remained open and operational. One of the protesters said the school should have done more.
Anytime there's a possible threat on campus, it should be closed down. There should be a lot more communication between the police and the students.
CSUN officials said the video was indeed a hoax and not a threat. President Henderson said in a statement, "At no time was our use of the word hoax intended to trivialize the genuine concerns that individuals had about the potential threat." Still, some students do not agree with the use of the word, especially after the high school massacre in Florida.
I believe that it was not a joke after what has been going on. I think it's pathetic for them to say that it was a joke. Well, it's basically a joke.
The students have set up a meeting with the college administration where they will also voice their frustrations. In Northridge, I'm Thomas Rodriguez for Valley View News.
Cal State University Northridge re-released a video telling people what to do if an active shooter is on campus.
While it is unlikely you will ever have to face an active shooter situation.
Mass shootings happen often nationwide. CSUN says it wants to remind students that it can happen anywhere at any time. Get out, hide, and fight are the key words for survival in an active shooting. The video was first released in January. Police say YouTube views for the video increased since the Parkland, Florida mass shooting.
How to keep guns out of the hands of those who aren't supposed to have them is a complicated question. California is the only state with the law that takes firearms from felons. The Armed Prohibited Person System, or APPS, flags people who were once approved to have firearms, but were later deemed unfit to own a gun. California's Department of Justice recovered 18,000 firearms since the program began. Still, some are concerned programs like APPS won't stop mass shootings.
It's impossible for us to measure the success of this operation because nobody knows whether or not one of the guns that we seized would have been in the next mass shooting.
Many stores like Dick's Sporting Goods say they won't sell semi-automatic rifles anymore. President Trump expressed interest in toughening gun laws.
The San Fernando Valley is home to one of the most dangerous intersections in the state of California. Valley View News reporter Cameron Parrish explains.
2015 state records ruled Devonshire and Reseda the most dangerous intersection in the state of California. Commanding officer of LAPD's Valley Traffic Division, Andrew Neiman, says serious injuries have been reported due to accidents near this intersection.
Somebody went to the hospital for lacerations, stitches, broken bones.
John Apikian manages this car wash near the intersection and says people are driving too fast.
People coming down the hill, coming so fast, trying to beat the light. When people are trying to turn on orange, they smack into each other.
Recently, driver Bassam Shakta was a victim of a crash near the intersection and says everything happened so quickly.
Then as soon as I crossed the light, traffic halted around like where the Honey Bake building is, and I had to slam my brakes because someone else slammed the brakes in front of me, but the guy behind me was going down this hill way too fast.
I had a guy on a motorcycle that flew and landed almost in my car wash.
While the intersection might be one of the most dangerous in the state of California, law enforcement says drivers need to do their part and limit distractions like using a cell phone while driving.
They're distracted because of either loud music, their cell phones, and so those are behaviors that really we need to fix.
The cell phone law in California went into effect in January of 2017, prohibiting drivers from holding any electronic device while driving. Police say remember to buckle up and put down that cell phone. I'm Cameron Parrish in Northridge for Valley View News.
The 45th Assembly District covers most of the San Fernando Valley. A political science major at CSUN filed paperwork to enter the race and represent the district. Valley View News reporter Lauren Turner-Dunn has the story.
Local resistance groups held a Q&A forum for the candidates of the 45th State Assembly District last week at CSUN. 19-year-old Justin Clark is a CSUN student who is running for the seat.
And I'm running because what our communities really do need is change.
He says his affiliated party doesn't matter.
I'm not running with loyalty to one party or one specific movement, such as the progressive movement. I'm running on the basis that I'm going to do what's best for the needs of my constituents.
In December, Assemblyman Matt DeBobney resigned after sexual misconduct allegations, leaving the seat open. As the only Republican candidate, political science professor Hoganesh says Clark may have a chance.
Republicans who show up to vote will probably vote for this 19-year-old Cal State Northridge student just based on party affiliation.
The 45th district takes up most of the western San Fernando Valley. From military status, age, and gender to race, the candidates feel that they can represent this district because of who they are.
Regardless of whether you support me or not, do vote. Voting is one of a critical way to exercise control in your government. In California, we have historically low voter turnout.
One of the reasons is that Americans are kind of electioned out.
If Clark wins, he will take a break from school to go to Sacramento to start his career in politics. Voting for the special election is on April 3rd. District residents can register to vote up until March 19th. In Northridge, for Valley View News, I'm Lauren Turner-Dunn.
The March 5th deadline for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA, has come and gone. Last September, President Trump said he was cutting the program, but first gave Congress 6 months to find a solution. Congress failed to reach a deal by March 5th. Meanwhile, DACA supporters protested on Capitol Hill for permanent protection for 800,000 DACA recipients. The Supreme Court refused to rule on a court challenge, leaving the matter in the hands of Congress. As of now, DACA recipients can renew their status.
Most DACA recipients are from Mexico, but roughly 200,000 are from different parts of the world. That includes Asia. Here's Valley View News reporter Noemi Salcedo with the story.
Asians are the fastest growing group of undocumented people in the U.S., according to the Pew Research Center. Of those 1.7 million immigrants, 130,000 are DACA eligible. Christine Park is one of the very few DACA recipients in the Asian community.
I came to the United States when I was 10 years old, and I'm 25 now, so I've been here for like 15 years, practically more than half of my life.
Asians have the lowest rates for DACA applicants. Legal advocate Kevin Liu says that culturally, it's harder for Asian communities to talk about immigration issues.
There's a more general distrust of the government. There's a more general emphasis on private life.
It's cultural because Asian people, at least for my family, we believe in striving through like hardship. We don't ask for help.
Asian American Studies professor Glenn Omatsu says the translation of languages also makes it hard to become informed on DACA and immigration.
Asian immigrant populations, there's many different kinds of language groups. So it's not like, you could just translate it into one language.
If you want to see a change, don't be afraid to ask for help. One help can lead to bigger things. So if you need help, we'll be here.
I'm Noemi Salcedo in Los Angeles for Valley View News.
There are other ways immigrants can be included as Americans other than DACA. I went to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services field office in Chatsworth to look at the path to citizenship through naturalization. With so much debate over immigration, some undocumented people seek ways to make them feel like they're part of the United States. Becoming a naturalized citizen is a pathway for some. Immigration Section Manager John Holland explains the requirements for naturalization.
Applicants are required to have lived in the United States for 5 years after having obtained a green card. They also have to be 18 years of old in order to apply.
Once an application is approved, an applicant takes written, reading, history, and civics tests. They must get at least 6 out of 10 questions correct on each test to become a naturalized citizen.
They'll have to be able to speak, read, and write English and know English well. They'll have to be able to answer government and history questions, and they'll have to be willing and able to take the oath of allegiance.
If a person fails their first test, they can take it again at no cost. Alicia Zepper was naturalized last year.
I'm excited, honestly. I have more opportunities. I can, have a driver's license. I can get government jobs. I can pretty much it's opened the door for more opportunities in my life.
Becoming a naturalized citizen takes dedication. Many say it is a privilege. If a person chooses naturalization, they must obey all laws and appreciate the nation's culture. I'm Shannon Osborne in Northridge for Valley View News. A big night at the Oscars, which sent a lot of people on an emotional roller coaster. Here's Noemi Salcedo with entertainment mixed with a bit of politics.
This year, Best Picture was announced correctly, and politics weren't left at home. Actors Lupita Nyong'o and Kumail Nanjiani shared a powerful message supporting Dreamers when they presented Best Production Design Award.
And like everyone in this room and everyone watching at home, we are dreamers. We grew up dreaming of one day working in the movies. Dreams are the foundation of Hollywood, and dreams are the foundation of America.
Frances McDormand won Best Actress and had some things to say.
If I may be so honored to have all the female nominees in every category stand with me in this room tonight. The actors, Meryl, if you do it, everybody else will.
The night's host, Jimmy Kimmel, poked fun at Republicans throughout the show.
We don't make films like Call Me By Your Name for money. We make them to upset Mike Pence.
This year, Academy Awards audience hit an all-time low. It dropped 19% from last year's 33 million viewers. The stars gathered at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles for the Oscars. History was made with the presence of the Me Too and Time's Up movements. Among last night's winners, The Shape of Water took the Oscar for Best Picture, and Guillermo del Toro won Best Director. The Shape of Water was nominated for a total of 13 awards. Jordan Peele also made history as the first African American to win Best Original Screenplay.
And the Oscar goes to Jordan Peele, Get Out.
Timothy Chalamet was the youngest nominee at 21 years old. Mary J. Blige was the first person to be nominated for both Best Supporting Actress and Best Original Song. And that's all for entertainment. I'm Noemi Salcedo. Back to you.
The Los Angeles City Planning Commission approved the construction of a mixed-use complex near CSUN. The 4-story structure spans 1.5 acres on Reseda Boulevard, in between Plummer and Superior Streets. It'll include more than 100 student housing units, retail space, and underground parking for hundreds of cars and bikes. Before construction starts, a post office and parking lot must be demolished. Other big projects planned for the CSUN area includes the Hyatt Hotel on campus and an apartment complex.
Coming up, the latest on cleanup efforts near the Thomas Fire burn area after a storm washed through Southern California.
And a 5-time NBA champion has a new award to add to his trophy closet. We'll explain next.
I came to CSUN to learn. I came to CSUN to grow. I came to CSUN to prepare. I learned to ask, to analyze, to communicate. I grew as a writer, a thinker, a citizen. I left CSUN prepared to participate, prepared to contribute, prepared to lead.
Aloha, I'm Linda Lingle, and I'm a matador.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
President Trump announced new tariffs on imported aluminum and steel. The steel tariff will be 25%, while aluminum tariff will be 10%. He says it'll help level the playing field for struggling U.S. industries.
We're going to build our steel industry back, and we're going to build our aluminum industry back.
The fear of tariff retaliations from other countries could cause trade wars. Several members from the president's party say it'll put the economy and national security at risk. The new policy means higher prices for anything made with imported metals. The White House says the new tariff will be formally announced next week.
Finally, a German government coalition is put together, and North and South Korea play nice.
Our international reporter Marissa Martinez has the scoop.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel's government is set to start her fourth term after the Social Democratic Party voted to form a grand coalition. The vote ends 5 months of political deadlock since September's election. The SPD had internal bickering before coming to an agreement. Party leadership feared young voters would veto a deal. Now the chancellor is facing many more challenges, including strong opposition from the Nationalist Alternative for Germany. Chinese President Xi Jinping wants to be president for life. For more than 2 decades, Chinese presidents were limited to 2 5-year terms. But Xi Jinping wants to stick around longer. His proposal to the People's Congress could extend his rule over the world's second biggest economy for quite some time. The change will make him China's most powerful leader in decades. North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un hosted a dinner for South Korean delegates. Their meeting discussed ways to improve relationships and how to ease military tensions. South Korea's delegation says it sought to get North Korea to end its nuclear weapons program. The relationship between the Koreas warmed up after last month's Olympics. That's all for international news. I'm Marissa Martinez. Back to you in the studio.
Another big storm had workers in Montecito cleaning up the area burned by the Thomas Fire. They unclogged drains and picked up mud and debris around. Evacuations were lifted, which eased worries of some residents. People were afraid that the areas cleared might be closed again. They have been cleaning up the Montecito area for the past few weeks because of the last storm. Some restaurants and other businesses have reopened.
Rescuers jumped into action after an avalanche hit a Northern California resort. Some skiers and snowboarders were buried under heavy snow that came crashing down Squaw Valley slopes. Joseph Bro was one of the rescuers. He was there the moment the avalanche hit.
I heard this sound, sounded like a train coming through the woods. And I turned around and all of a sudden it just blew up. The snow it went probably 100 feet in the air all over the place. You couldn't even see anything.
5 victims were pulled from the snow. Sheriff's officials say a 42-year-old was killed. Last weekend, an avalanche also hit Mammoth Mountain. 8 people were partially buried. The resort saw 5 feet of snow over a 2-day period.
So Kobe won an Oscar? Let's go to Andrena with the latest in sports.
Thank you, Rochelle. And the Academy Award goes to Kobe Bryant. This year's Oscars were filled with activists, actors, and sports stars. Kobe Bryant added a new trophy to his collection, this time an Oscar. He took home an Oscar for the Best Animated Short for his film Dear Basketball, alongside director Glenn Keane. Kobe is the first African American to ever win in this category.
As basketball players, we're really supposed to shut up and dribble, but I'm glad we do a little bit more than that.
Kobe mocked the shut up and dribble controversy and proved he is more than just an athlete. A viral outbreak has Dodgers running and not for bases. More than 24 players were sent home this week after a suspected norovirus outbreak in the clubhouse. The stomach virus has players losing an average of 8 pounds. Some say it's the worst pain they've ever felt. With opening day approaching, the Dodgers have 2 weeks to pull together and recuperate. It's just another day of defying the odds for one-handed linebacker Shaquem Griffin. The UCF linebacker dominated the competition at the NFL Combine during the weekend. Shaquem ran the fastest 40-yard dash ever recorded for a linebacker at 4.38 seconds. The 6-foot, 227-pound footballer shocked audiences as he put up 20 reps on bench press using a prosthetic. Shaquem was among those surprised by his accomplishments. He said he wanted to at least put up 6 reps. Safe to say, he surpassed that. Also competing at the scouting combine was Shaquem's twin brother, Shaquille. The brothers said they mainly just wanted to beat each other. Messi netted his 600th career goal. Sunday, Barcelona pulled out a win over Atletico Madrid. Barcelona was awarded a free kick in minute 26. The game ended 1-0. The victory further solidified Barca's place at first all over in the league. Atletico, who's in second place, now trails by 8 points. That's all for sports today. I'm Andrea Serrano. Back to you.
After the break, we'll show you a new app that makes local communities safer.
And cheers! You may want to drink a glass of wine or beer at dinner tonight. A new study that says alcohol could be the key to a long life.
I found them at work, on a desk, laying out in the open. Copied them, shared them on a website. Now I'm facing up to 3 years in jail. It's scary. Who knows where it's going? I mean, who's gonna hire me? Don't do it. It's not worth it.
I came to CSUN to learn. I came to CSUN to grow. I came to CSUN to prepare. I learned to question, to answer, to encourage. I grew as a mentor, an ally, an advocate. I left CSUN prepared to uplift and embolden, prepared to challenge and inspire, prepared to teach.
I'm Rebecca Milwaukee, and I'm a Matador.
You made this vacation happen, cleverly merging promotions,
double points with every purchase,
and cross-referencing travel sites. Aloha! If you can ace your vacation, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
It's time to finally recycle those old electronics. CSUN's Sustainability Center is teaming up with Recycle Mania to host an e-waste drive. The 8-week effort started February 1st at colleges across the United States. The schools will report the amount of recycled trash they collected each week. Alyssa Perez says CSUN students will learn the importance of recycling.
It's important for students too because not only is it helpful to them, but it can be economically efficient for them as well.
The campus wants the community to bring old, unwanted, or broken electronics to the center. The center will be open for recycling electronics between 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. until March 28th.
Twitter says it's doing something about those pesky spam accounts.
Lauren Turner Dunn explains her social media, tech, and health report.
Thank you. Neighborhood Watch is taking a new approach. Instead of the traditional in-person meetings, some people are using social media to voice their concerns about their neighborhoods. A few Tarzana residents share how they're trying to stop an increase in crime. Here's Valley View News reporter Corinne Hafuda with the story.
Tarzana residents are suffering from a wave of burglaries. Police call Tarzana a hotspot with increasing crime. Residents are taking their frustrations to the app Nextdoor. Nextdoor's media relations director, Jen Burke, explains why people are using the app.
And the whole goal of Nextdoor is to really bring back a sense of community to the neighborhood, to help neighbors get to know one another.
Gated community residents are affected too. Police say Tarzana and surrounding cities experience over a dozen theft-related crimes every week, but most aren't caught. Braemar State Security Paul Jimenez explains some recent trends.
We've had numerous break-ins. Usually do the break-ins about the times that we have to lock up the country club, and they usually jump over the fences.
Neighbors say that Nextdoor doesn't reach out to everyone. They take to Facebook using a Crime Watch page for further exposure. Residents feel like their post on the app with security footage doesn't help. Tarzana resident Marcy Zacharia explains her experience.
My house was broken into last week. I was able to get the picture in my security system, and I sent it on to Nextdoor, and no one was able to identify him.
With crime on the rise in Tarzana and other neighboring communities, neighbors and friends are all determined to stop the crime together. In Tarzana, I'm Corinna Fuda for Valley View News.
Amazon says it won't sell Google's Nest smart home products anymore. Nest then said it won't sell any of its devices on Amazon once current stock runs out. This is the latest battle between the tech giants. In December, Google removed its YouTube service from Amazon's Fire TV and Echo devices. Nest was recently reacquired by Google's hardware division. Cheers to turning 90. A UC Irvine study found that seniors drinking 2 alcoholic beverages a day may increase their lifespans. The study is called 90 Plus. It began in 2003. Researchers compared drinking wine, beer, and coffee to exercising. Some people reduce their death risk by 20% when having a hobby and drinking 2 glasses of beer or wine. Coffee drinkers and people exercising for less than an hour decrease their death risk by about 10%. Automated accounts and tweets, also known as bots on Twitter, might not be good. Twitter says it made changes to the app and its tweet deck by limiting the amount of identical or similar posts from several accounts. The accounts also won't be able to like, retweet, or follow users from multiple accounts at once. The goal is to stop fake spam accounts from making tweets look like they have more support than they actually do. Multiple accounts that weren't connected to phone numbers were deleted. The accounts were restored after they confirmed their phone numbers. That's all I have for social media, health, and tech. Back to you.
A heartwarming story out of California. An 11-year-old Hollister girl is coping with the loss of her dad by sending him letters tied to balloons. She's been doing this for 3 years, but this year was special. Emily Hinchberger's balloons ended up more than 100 miles away in Bakersfield. Veronica Manzo found the letter and connected with Emily's mom through social media. She arranged horse riding lessons for Emily because her father grew up riding horses. To make it even more special, the person giving the riding lessons is her dad's high school girlfriend. Emily says this taught her a lesson about life.
Even when you lose a loved one, there's more people around you who care, and they will help you get through it.
She also says she thinks the balloons landing in Bakersfield was meant to be.
That's all for us at Valley View News. Thank you for watching. I'm Shannon Osborne.
And I'm Rochelle Salas. For news any time of day, go to our website, sundials.csun.edu. See you next week.